DJane, you're always in a dirty play. DJane, once again, here we are today. Oh, DJane.
So it looked like DJonai Carrington just got booted from the Dallas Wings.
What kind of player makes even referees feel unsafe? In a league built on grit, grind, and greatness, DJane Carrington managed to carve out a reputation that had nothing to do with skill, and everything to do with chaos. She wasn't just aggressive, she wasn't just physical, she was the walking definition of reckless. Opposing stars feared her, teammates didn't trust her. Officials? They literally called for security just to deal with her.
DJane, your game was stinking in the mud, and the Dallas Wings wanted nothing to do with you going forward.
Over the course of one wild season, Carrington racked up more headlines for flagrant fouls than actual highlights. From poking Caitlin Clark in the eye during a playoff game, to accidentally injuring her own teammate while trying to take out an opponent, her resume read more like a warning label than a stat sheet. And after months of mounting pressure, public outrage, and locker room tension, the Dallas Wings finally made the call that many fans had been demanding for weeks. They cut her loose. But this isn't just the story of a controversial player getting traded. This is about what happens when the league's tolerance for dangerous behavior runs out, and a player becomes too toxic to ignore. Because Carrington didn't just cross the line, she bulldozed right through it. It was supposed to be the biggest moment of the season, Caitlin Clark's playoff debut.
Now, DJonai Carrington couldn't keep her hands clean either. With staying out of headlines on the internet, she was always in headlines, punching players in the eye. And then we have to remember, she nearly injured Paige. Like, everybody forgot about that. Y'all remember when she nearly injured Paige, nearly took her whole knee out? Like, we got to remember all of those things transpired during this basketball season, man. For her to tell you, they made it their business to get rid of her.
The rookie phenom had carried the Indiana Fever further than anyone expected. Her name was trending, arenas were sold out, and eyes across the country were locked in. But no one expected what happened next. As Clark lined up for one of her signature shots, DJane Carrington closed in on defense. Except, this wasn't just tight coverage. This wasn't a hard contest. This was something else entirely.
As everyone else has seen this angle, I'm calling her in and I'm saying to her, I need answers.
Carrington's hand didn't just graze Clark, it went straight for her face, more specifically her eye. In one sickening moment, Clark's head jerked back, her hands flew up to her face and the arena fell silent. When she finally looked up, the damage was clear. A visible black eye. No foul call, no apology, just shock. Replays slowed it down frame by frame and the internet exploded.
And kind of swatted at Caitlin. Did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me, but no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her, so obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am.
Was it intentional? Was it careless? Or was this just who Carrington had become? The league didn't say much, but fans had plenty to say. Tweets poured in, commentators were stunned. Some called for a suspension, others called it dirty. But everyone agreed on one thing: this wasn't a basketball play, it was personal. And what came after only made things worse. If the Caitlin Clark eye poke was the warning shot,
let's watch it, and this will give us a couple of different angles.
Corrections of games. There's the tip. Diggins, who's still fast, gets down the floor, buries it, draws the foul, but is shaken up.
the next incident confirmed the pattern. June 4th, Seattle Storm versus Dallas Wings. The game was tight, the energy high. Skylar Diggins-Smith was in full attack mode, pushing the ball in transition, ready to finish at the rim. Then came Carrington. Instead of going for the ball, she went for Skylar's head. On a full-speed drive, Carrington met her midair. No play on the ball, no real defensive attempt, just a direct hit to the face.
Oh, and there's Skylar on the floor. box. At first glance, this might not look too bad. But when we get some different angles of it, you just see how this is clearly, definitely, 100% not a basketball play. Let's take a look. We got DJane.
Signals for the officials that this will likely get upgraded.
DJane, did you forget what sport you're playing? You know this is basketball, right?
The refs didn't hesitate, flagrant one. The fans didn't hold back either. Social media lit up with comparisons to the Clark incident. Same reckless contact, same target area, same result. Another star player visibly shaken, another flagrant added to Carrington's growing list. This wasn't a one-off. Carrington wasn't playing tough defense anymore. She was playing with fire again and again. And this time, even seasoned analysts started to speak up. They weren't just calling her physical, they were calling her dangerous. Because when the same player keeps ending up in the same kind of trouble, it's not coincidence. It's a pattern, and it was far from over.
DJane Carrington is clearly a dirty player. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if DJane, what do you have going on in that mind of yours? Are you okay? DJane, are you okay? DJane, are you okay? Are you okay? DJane, are you okay? DJane, are you okay? Are you okay? Yes, DJane. Get it together, collect your thoughts, collect your emotions, because the last thing we need to see you is crash out.
By now, the narrative was shifting. Carrington wasn't just aggressive, she wasn't just intense. She was getting labeled with something far more damaging, dirty. After the Diggins hit, the floodgates opened. Fans combed through footage, finding more examples of reckless contact, elbows to the head, hard fouls from behind, hands near the face every time she closed in on a star player.
Ball's being pushed down court.
Whoa. So Vishal, can you really activate your natural healing system and manage lifestyle diseases just through natural methods and that?
Yeah, I mean, this will be a better angle of it. I think we'll be able to see how hard the foul is right here. That's a hard foul, and she does get her in the face when she's coming down.
It wasn't subtle, it was calculated. One viral comment summed it up perfectly. That's not physicality, that's just trash basketball. And that wasn't from a rival fan, it was from a longtime WNBA supporter who had defended hard-nosed play for years. But even they had their limits.
She basically reached around Shepard's body, but the fact that she went for the basketball and for the block really
The basketball play.
Yeah, it is. And she ends up getting Shepard in the face, the nose. I don't know which takes precedent. Oh, see, it's the hit the ball and then it's the pull back. They're showing it on the Jumbotron at a different angle that sort of looked like, watch after Carrington goes for the block, watch her pull back right here. And that's the part that I don't know if you separate that.
Sports talk shows jumped on the story. Pundits debated whether Carrington still belonged on a roster. Her flagrant foul count had already passed most players' career totals, and the season wasn't even over. This wasn't about a bad game or an emotional moment. This was a trend, and every new foul made it harder to defend her. The narrative was no longer in her hands. She wasn't the scrappy underdog anymore, she was the headline, and not in a good way. Up to this point, Carrington's chaos had been aimed at opponents, but then, she hurt one of her own. May 21st, Dallas Wings versus Minnesota Lynx. Jessica Shepard goes up for a shot. Routine, clean, nothing out of the ordinary, but Carrington, in typical fashion, came flying in like a missile, not for the block, not for the ball. Her hand went straight for Shepard's face. The refs didn't even hesitate. Another flagrant. But what made this moment different? Paige Beckers, her own teammate, caught in the crossfire. In the middle of Carrington's reckless lunge, Beckers took a hit, a misstep, a shove, or just being too close to the blast radius. Whatever it was, it left Dallas reeling.
Like, I'm sorry, you don't get to plow through somebody's back, almost injure a teammate, and then say, yeah. And then, like, claim that you've done nothing. You've done nothing. Like, and people like, stand on business. She's like trying to laugh at him. Like, no, you're just Pat Bev. You're not Draymond, you're Pat Bev. Like, realistically, you're Pat Bev. That's it. And like, look, and I mean this when I say this, it was a dangerous play only for Paige.
Because this time, it wasn't just another controversial foul. It was collateral damage. Carrington's style had always been chaotic. But now it was dangerous to the people wearing the same jersey, and the reaction inside the team, visibly shaken. Beckers didn't hold back her frustration. Other players started keeping their distance, both physically and emotionally. Practice footage showed players hesitant to engage. Post-game interviews were tense, clipped, carefully worded. When you're worried about catching a stray elbow from your own teammate, it's no longer about chemistry, it's about survival. Carrington hadn't just become a problem for other teams, she was now a threat to her own locker room, and everyone in Dallas knew it. By late May, DJane Carrington had become a walking storm cloud. Every game she played in came with tension, whistles, and controversy, but no one expected what happened on May 30th. Not the fans, not the media, not even the officials. Dallas Wings had just lost a close one to the Chicago Sky, 97-92. The game was physical, sure, emotions were high, but it was what happened after the final buzzer that stunned the entire league. Carrington approached referee Roy Golbian. From the outside, it looked like a conversation, but within seconds the mood shifted. Fast. Golbian's body language changed, his expression tightened, and then he called for security. Let that sink in.
WNBA player who tried to rip Caitlin Clark's eye out. Zach Dean over at Outkick, hilarious. They tried to rip Caitlin Clark's eye out, has security called on her by ref. That's right. The referee had to call security on DJane Carrington. I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, hell, who wants to catch a stray eye gouge? A scoopage of the eyeball out, watching your eyeball roll across the floor because somebody's mad at one of your calls.
A professional WNBA referee trained to handle high-pressure games and heated players felt so uncomfortable during an exchange with one athlete. He asked for backup. And not because of physical contact, because of the energy she brought, the unpredictability, the threat. This wasn't just an emotional outburst. This was a moment that forced the league to stop pretending things were fine. No one had ever seen this before. Not in the WNBA, not in women's sports, not ever. Veteran players looked on in disbelief. Coaches on both sides stood frozen. Fans in the arena had no idea what they were witnessing until news started spreading like wildfire online. A player just triggered a security response during a game. And then, just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Carrington went on social media. Most players, after sparking the first security call in WNBA history, would lay low. Not DJane Carrington. Instead of showing remorse or attempting damage control, she logged into social media and made it worse. Her post read, "Security when I'm literally having a civil conversation is insane." She doubled down, mocked the reaction, and painted herself as the victim. No accountability, no pause for reflection. Just more of the same energy that had been getting her into trouble all season long. And the fans? They were done. Replies flooded in, calling her out for her behavior. Longtime supporters of the league criticized her for dragging the sport into chaos. Some even asked the league to suspend her indefinitely, citing a pattern of reckless, unsafe behavior that was no longer just controversial, but dangerous. Even sports media began raising questions the league had avoided for too long. Why was she still on a roster? How many more incidents would it take? When does aggressive become unacceptable? Behind the scenes, executives started talking. Referees began pushing for stricter rules, and the Dallas Wings organization, once willing to defend her intensity, started going silent. Because it wasn't just one moment anymore. It was a trail of chaos, a series of unrepentant actions. And now, a public response that confirmed the worst fears. Carrington wasn't going to change. She didn't see the problem. She was the problem. And the WNBA had a decision to make. After months of build-up, mounting controversy, and internal pressure, the Dallas Wings finally pulled the trigger. DJane Carrington was gone. No public statement, no dramatic send-off, just a quiet, calculated trade that spoke volumes. Because when a team decides to part ways with one of their most well-known players, not for performance, but for being a walking liability, It sends a message louder than any press conference ever could. The Wings were done babysitting the chaos, done explaining away the flagrant fouls, done risking their own locker room just to keep a name on the bench. But here's the twist. Minnesota said yes. The Lynx, a team with championship aspirations, brought Carrington into their house, fully aware of the wreckage trailing behind her. And that's where the controversy exploded all over again. If you enjoy this video, please subscribe this channel. Every subscriber motivates me to work hard. Let's jump to the video. Fans couldn't believe it. Social media lit up with questions and backlash. Why bring in someone who injures teammates? Is Minnesota really this desperate? How long until this blows up in their faces? Minnesota's front office claimed they saw untapped potential, a buzzword used far too often to justify risky decisions. But critics weren't buying it. Not after the Clark eye poke, not after the Diggins flagrant, and definitely not after the referee security incident. Carrington wasn't just a hot-headed player anymore, she was a symbol of what happens when unchecked aggression gets ignored for too long. And Minnesota? They weren't just signing a player. They were importing a problem that could fracture chemistry, derail momentum, and collapse a season faster than anyone expected. At first glance, it's easy to write this off as just a Carrington problem, but that would be missing the bigger picture, because DJane Carrington's rise and the chaos that followed didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened in a league that's still figuring out where the line is between tough defense and reckless violence, between entertainment and endangerment. And suddenly, fans weren't just questioning Carrington, they were questioning the entire WNBA. Why did it take so long for officials to step in? Why wasn't the league faster to issue suspensions or fines? How many players have to get hurt before someone draws the line? This wasn't just about fouls anymore. It was about culture, about how far a player can go before accountability kicks in. And here's the chilling part. Carrington's story might only be the beginning. Because if one player could slip through the cracks for this long, what other stories are hiding just beneath the surface? What other incidents never made it to Twitter or never got caught on camera? As Carrington suits up for Minnesota, eyes won't just be on her. They'll be on the league, the refs, the front offices, and every decision made from here on out. Because if there's one thing this saga proved, it's that the WNBA is no longer just a game, it's a battleground for respect, for safety, and for the future of how women's basketball is played.